So I'll be training you guys how to sort this data in Excel 2013 and also format it and use pivot tables and even charts. So you guys have this data on your computer?
Yes.
You guys do? Okay, so
Yeah.
so what we can first do is just click anywhere in the data set. Just click. Okay, just click anywhere here and press Control A. You guys press Control A. Did this happen for you guys? All of it selected, the data?
You said Control A?
Control A, yeah.
Okay, yes.
So does your screen look like mine? This data?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, if we want to sort this data, we just right-click anywhere where it's selected. Now we have this, and go down to Sort. Are you guys still with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we go to Custom Sort. Okay, and then click Custom Sort.
Got it.
Okay, so we can decide how we want to sort this data. So let's say I want to sort this by first the course name. So we just have to go to this pull down box and say I want to first sort this data by course name. Just click course name. And how do we want to sort this data? We can do it alphabetically. We can do it from A to Z. So that's the most common way to sort it, course name A to Z. Are you guys still with me?
Yep.
So if we do that, if we press OK, then it's sorted by course name. See? So all the Algebra 1 and Biology, all the courses are sorted with each other, with each other courses. So does your screen look like mine?
Yep.
Yeah.
But what if we want to like sort it even further? Like so we have the course names together, but let's say we want to sort it by the teachers too. Like some of these teachers are together, but for some courses like RS2 advisory, these teachers are not sorted. They're like, some teachers are here, they're not together, so we can sort the teachers together too. So all we have to do is right click again. We can go back to sort, then custom sort again. So it's already has the course name and the alphabetically sorted already. So all we need to do is like add another level of sorting. So what do you think we'll have to do to add another level of sorting?
Put the next level so it'll be by teacher, right?
Yeah, so how do we add another level? What do you guys think? How do we add?
Press
Click on
the add level button.
Yeah, that's right. We just press add level. And then we just choose teacher. And again, alphabetically. Okay. So it didn't seem to do anything, but it actually sorted all the courses and the teachers together. So all the teachers are by each other, and all the courses are sorted. But let's say, okay, the scores. We want that sorted too. There's a 13 here, there's a 0 here. It looks really confusing. Like, what are these numbers? So let's sort it again. So again, Control A, sort, custom sort, and again add a level. Oh wait, so when I added a level, it went in between course name and teacher. I don't want that. I don't want I don't want to sort the averages in between the course name and teacher, I want it all the way at the end. So I just need to delete that because I mistakenly put it in the middle. So what do you guys think I need to do to delete that?
Delete level.
Yeah, just delete level. And just click here, so it will be like when you're adding the next level will go after this. So first add level after this. Then sort by the scores, so course average. And I guess we want it from smallest to largest. We can also have it from largest to smallest. It's your preference, you know, smallest to largest. So click OK. Now it's sorted by the class, and the next it's sorted by the teacher. Then it's sorted by the scores. So that's how you sort. And next, let's look at formatting. Okay? So again, you know, it would be easier to understand these scores if, you know, there's some kind of like formatting to it, you know. So we just again click the data, anywhere in the data. And what do you guys, what do we press to select all the data?
Control A.
Yeah, control. And now there's a special icon that we need to press to get the formatting. That it went away. Okay, it's over here. See it? See the icon right there?
Mm-hmm.
So you just click that. See this? All these like options pop up, and you see the formatting. So there's the formatting. Just now you can have data bars on the course average. So well, it seems a little bit easier to read, you know, with data bars, or you can have a color scale. You know, like the 0 is a red, and whatever is higher than a certain number is green. And we can adjust whatever colors, you know, well, what color too, but that will be another, you know, training session. And also we can have icons, and so these are some of the formatting we can apply to the data. And another tool that we can use is pivot tables. Have you heard of pivot tables, anyone?
What version of Excel are you using?
Excel 2013. Are you guys using Excel 2013?
No, my company does. I'm on my company's laptop, so I don't have that. So when you have that little icon, mine doesn't. I don't get that.
Oh, okay. So I guess you guys have maybe Excel 2010. So we'll do the way for Excel 2010. Okay. So we just
I
again.
don't know, Bridget. What do you have?
I have 2013, so I can see the icon.
Oh, you guys stink.
Try to do.
My company decided to upgrade. We just finally got 2010 for God's sake, so we're a little behind.
So let's try to do it without, you know, the icon. So just click it, Control A. So you must have the ribbon, right? Up here, ribbon up here, where I'm putting my cursor.
Yeah, I just got the regular tab. Yeah, the ribbon, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we can't do the formatting in with the icon without the icon in 2010. So let's just look at the pivot tables. You have this icon, pivot chart.
No, but I have under tables, I have pivot table.
Oh, you do? So just click it. Oh, okay, so I prepared for Excel 2013, so I guess you'll just have to follow along, because
That's fine.
I use this icon to do it, you know.
No problem.
So in 2013, you just press this icon, and you go to tables. And now we can create pivot tables. So these are useful because they summarize all this data into this small chart. So now we can see in P8 there's 118 kids, or in P1 there's 453 kids, or we can see the average of different categories like algebra, biology, English, or things like that. So let's just click. Let's say we want to find out the how well the teachers are doing in their classes and how well their students are performing. So let's just click this pivot table. Do you have this pivot table, Brescia?
Yes.
Okay, let's just click that. So we'll go to a new sheet. Okay. So now it says this is the sum of course average. We don't really want sum of course average because that does not really mean anything to us. So we just want an average of the kids' scores. So what we can do is we can just click on total and right click, or don't click on it, just click on this column and right click, and go to summarize values by. So now we have sum. We don't want sum, we want the average of the kids' scores. So let's just go to average. Just click average. So now we have the average of how the kids are doing in each student's or each teacher's class. So this person, their average score is 5. And this teacher, their average score is 52. So that's about what we can do with the pivot charts. And now let's create a chart. So again, what we're doing is, for this part, we just select what we want to create the chart with. So we just want algebra for our chart and this teacher. So let's just select these students that are in algebra and just copy it and just put it over here. So the students that are in algebra. And let's get their scores too. So, their scores, copy it, just paste. And now we can create a chart with this data. So again, just click on the data set and press Control A. Now that data is selected, we just go to the icon again. And now we just go to charts. And there's a bunch of charts we can use. There's a clustered column chart. So let's see if it's the best chart to use. So we created the chart. So usually these two icons are also visible, but what happened is this Excel sheet is not compatible with 2013. So that's why these two icons are not visible. But with this icon, we can modify the axis. We can put in axis titles and data labels. And we can just modify this chart any way we want. So I guess for an assessment, what you guys can do is just open up the Excel sheet that I sent you. Like, forget about the edits we did with this chart. Just like open it up all over again. And can you guys sort this data by the course name, then the teacher name, then the course average, and just sort it like that, and then send it to me. That's your assessment. Okay?
So you said the course
Course
name, teacher name, and the average?
course average. So in that order. First course name, then teacher name, then course average.
And the average is from smallest to largest?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the end of my training. So do you want to pause the recording, or does someone want to go next?
Let's pause it for just a second.
So let's see. If I stop it, does it create a new file, or?
That's a good question. Does it show like it will pause?
It only has a stop icon.
Oh.
So I'll stop sharing my screen. So still recording.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
I don't see anything in here about an assessment. It says present live, assign a guided skill practice, and explicitly evaluate the learning of your participants. Oh, wait a second. And evaluate the learning of your participants. Oh, so that's how you're going to do that?
Yeah.
You want us to do a sorting exercise
Yeah.
to see what we've learned?
I just saw the word assessment, so I just included it just in case.
Create a feedback form that includes learning objectives, an assessment of the training method, and an assessment of the students' learning against the learning objectives.
So is that supposed to be included in some of the feedback that we're getting? Like the feedback questions should cover all of those topics that you just read?
That's what I was thinking. Create a feedback form that includes learning objectives, an assessment of the training, and an assessment of the students' learning against the learning objectives. So what my learning would be against your learning objectives. Do you understand that, Philip?
So
the feedback form, which is like, you know, when you get done with a training session and they give you a form, and they have, it's all, they have stuff that's the learning objectives, and that says you assess the training method. So the training method was you do it training, teaching us Excel. And then the third element is assessment of my learning against those learning, what I have learned as a student against your learning objectives. So you make the assessment, like, you know, in like SurveyMonkey or something like that. And you make those questions based, and one has to be like a Likert, like she put down here, let's see, farther down in the blue area, about the fourth bullet down or so, feedback form. Everyone will need to create a separate feedback form because they should have items related to learning objectives specific to your training. The feedback form should not be lengthy, 5 to 7 items. It would be more than enough to cover the required topics. Ideally, you should have a combination of quantitative items like a Likert scale of, you know, 5 to 7, or qualitative open-ended. You should have at least one open-ended. So you've done those before in training sessions, right? Those kind of questions, those kinds of.
Like, how do you feel this training module will help you in your everyday life type thing? And then you will rate it 1 through 5 or 1 through 7 type of thing.
And SurveyMonkey's free, and it gives you, if you pick the things, if you sign up, it gives you the different, like you could do one with a Likert scale, and you can pick the words that you want for it, and the open-ended questions, and then you can not send it to you, and you can not anonymously respond. Unfortunately, there's only 3 of us, so the feedback's different.
But if you go to the top,
But that's how that works.
if you go to the top of the page, it says design a 15-minute training session in which you present live, then assign guided skill practice.
Right. Assign guided skill practice within the session.
Within the session?
Yeah, so what I was going to use is just my questions, like what you've obtained, what you've retained from the learning. Like when I go through my thing, I mean, I don't have like an actual skill thing to apply because, I tried just now just looking for like an interactive bowling thing, but that's not the same thing.
And also
So like she had said, she gave options like, doing like making scrambled eggs and stuff like that. Well, I don't know how you would give an interactive tutorial unless we all did a video conference together and we all were at our stoves,
What is
Same thing
the,
with arranging flowers in a vase. We'd all have to video each other.
what is
That would take more than 15 minutes.
explicit?
You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm a little confused on her direction. It seems to be 2 different directions.
Explicitly evaluate the learning of other participants in your group.
I feel. Are we being recorded still?
Yes.
I'll wait till we're done and then I'll give you my assessment. Never mind. Oh.
Who's going next?
I can go next if you want.
Go ahead.
Did you hand over the?
I stopped the recording of the screen, so you just have to click the top where it says, or is it next to the microphone?
Become the presenter. I can't do that. You got to hand it over to me. You have to pass the thing to me for me to.
Or do you pass it?
Sharing screen. Let's see here. Sharing my screen. Philip is the presenter who can share the screen. Ask if I can share the screen. Okay.
I want to make
Did you see that?
Enter. Wait, oh no. Making wrong person the presenter. Okay. Okay, I made you the presenter.
I got it. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me go to my presentation here. Okay. All right, so today I'm going to present on the game of bowling. First, I'm going to give the learning objectives, my background with bowling. I'll give you a little bit of history, and then I'll go into a little bit more information about the game and the rules, and then I'll do a quick question thing to see if you guys have learned anything from this session.
Okay.
So I'll get right into it. Let's see where I'm going to go to meeting thing here. Learning object. At the end of this training, learners will be able to explain the history and progression of bowling, how to pick out a bowling ball, how to pick out bowling shoes, how to bowl, and the rules and guidelines of bowling. It's not done. What happened? There we go. Okay. I have been bowling since I was 4 years old. I currently use a 14-pound bowling ball. I'm a right-handed bowler, and I do not use fingertips in the ball. I do not use any special equipment or high-performance ball. I have been to the bowling stadium in Reno once. I'm a third-generational bowler, and the highest game I've ever bowled was a 245. Now, on to the history of bowling. The history of bowling. In 1930, British anthropologist Sir Flinders Petrie found a collection of objects in children's graves in Egypt that looked like a version of bowling that could have dated back to 3200 BC. William Pale, a German historian, believed bowling started in Germany around 300 AD. In 1366, it was believed that King Edward outlawed bowling to keep the troops focused on archery. And then in 1841, Connecticut outlawed maintaining 9-pin lanes. In the late 1800s, bowling was most prevalent in New York, Ohio, and Illinois. Pins and ball weights varied by region at that time. And then in September 9th of 1895 at the Beethoven Hall in New York City, the American Congress was made. Shortly thereafter, leagues and competitions started taking place. Originally, the American Bowling Congress was just for men, but in the 1917, they added women, a Women's International Bowling Congress, and it was assembled in St. Louis. And the very first bowling ball was a very hard wood. In 1905, the first rubber ball was produced. And then Brunswick came out with a mineralite ball in 1914 that contained the rubber compound. And then in 1951, Gottfried Schmidt, American Machine and Foundry Company, purchased the patent for the Automax pin spotter from Gottfried Schmidt. And in 1952, the production model was made. In the 1950s, bowling was televised, and NBC was the first to broadcast it. And that increased the popularity of the game. And then in 1961, ABC televised the Pro Bowler Association competition. And today, as of today, 95 million people bowl in more than 90 countries partake in the sport of bowling. Now as for the rules of bowling. A regulation lane is 60 feet long from the foul line to the head pin and 42 feet wide. There are gutters on each side. The approach is 15 feet long that ends at the foul line. The bowler cannot step over the foul line. The pins are in 4 rows, and they are numbered 1 to 2, but it's not numbered on the floor. They're just put in a triangular shape with the single row in the front and the longest row in the back. The regulation pin is a hard maple, and it's 15 inches high. In the diameter at the bottom is 2 1/4 inches, and the circumference at the widest spot is 15 inches. A regulation ball weighs anywhere between 10 and 16 pounds, and the circumference is no larger than 27 inches, and that's solid. As you can see, this is what a bowling alley looks like. You start here. These are some men bowlers they have longer legs, so they usually start back here with these dots. And then here would be the foul line. And you just pick your spot to bowl off and throw. As you can see, the approach is fairly long, and the reason why you should not go over the foul line is because there's oil on there, and if you step on the oil, it gets on your shoes and you fall. And here are a couple different bowling balls I put here. And as you can see, there's different weights in each one of these balls. And they're set in the balls in different ways based on what you want in it. So if you see the first one, the hook potential, oopsie. Let me zoom those in a little bit. You can zoom it in. Let's see here. There we go. See a little bit better, a little big. But anyway, see the hook potential is pretty high. The length, that means that the length of the hook when it comes earlier or later when you throw the ball. The break point shape, if it's a smooth or angular arc, it's kind of hard to see right there. The flare point, I'm not really familiar with that, but as you can see with this one compared to the next ball, the hook length and break point and flare potential and RG average is different. And professional bowlers, as opposed to amateurs, would have a better idea of what they would want in their balls and the weights. and what they're looking for. See, like this one has the hook potential of 115. That's a lot lower. So that means if you throw the ball down the alley, it's going to be a more straighter ball, or than the other two. The other two would hook more. But this one on the over here, do you see my arrow?
Yes.
Okay, this one over here, that means it's farther down the lane is when the hook's going to happen. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea, because not a lot of people that aren't bowlers aren't familiar with some of these kind of things. Let me get this back down to a size that you can see. Okay, and then I have a few video clips here to give you some idea of, first we're going to go through how to pick out a ball, how to pick out the right shoes, scoring, because not some people are familiar with scoring, and then how to bowl. So let me open up this again and go ahead and get started with the video clip.
Next, we'll be talking about choosing a ball for the day board. Some of the key points will be the grip, ball weight, the flash ball, when you're getting from the pocket ball, reactive running ball, which will straight to the bucket. Next, we're going to be talking about choosing a ball for the lead ball. Some of the key points with the ball, what type of grip you're using. Is it a thin fingertip grip, or is it a full fingertip grip? We're going to be talking about measurements. How about average? What type of battery is there? We're going to be talking about ice balls, different ball balls, plastic, electric, smaller ball. What type of ball national league? We're going to be talking about some other stuff. Next, we'll be talking about choosing a ball for a tournament ball. We're going to talk about the differences in weight class. What are those tires? Asymmetrical balls versus symmetrical balls. We'll talk about the basics on ramps. Even frequencies, lot of great information. We have chosen the proper ball for you. We talk about the accessories that will help make this whole experience balance out up and help you feel more stress with that very ball. It's like nozzle, towel, hand, all these things are going to help pull that. What's going to happen is this is how professional bowlers do it. And we see the pretty good players all the time. Then when I started doing photography for our sport, we've been working for Storm products for quite some time. You know, Storm has been the number one ball on tour for many years. And you know, they have a wide variety of bowlers, not just for the professionals, but also for the game bowlers. So, hey, it's just
Okay, that didn't go into in details as I hope. So, but anyway, did you have any questions about that one?
couldn't really hear what he was saying.
Oops. The thing with the ball is, like he was talking about, it depends on the kind of bowler you are and what you pick. The professional bowlers are the ones that are more concerned with the weights in there and getting the rotation and the hook on the ball. And as someone that's in a league might not be so much unless you're, an avid competitor. Then we'll go in real quick to shoes.
How to choose the right bowling shoes for your game. You have beginner shoes, advanced shoes, you have different sizes, different shapes, different styles. Many you choose from, get the right one for everyone. For beginner, when I was bowler, you have a shoe that has a slightly different style. You have a flat style, that's what you do. Slightly different, parallel, that kind of thing. As different as well, those that kind of
All right, and then we'll go into scoring. Did you have any questions on the shoes? Pretty straightforward, the shoes. Okay, any thoughts on scoring and averages? Are you guys still there?
It's hard to.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you, yeah.
So it's like the audio is like not that good through the GoToMeeting.
Oh, okay. On my device or
I don't know, like
on the video?
video, it's not coming through.
Oh, really?
Kind of.
I think it's like echoing off of your speakers and the GoToMeeting.
Oh, okay. Can you hear it?
All jumbled up. I can't really understand what he's saying.
Oh, okay. All right, so should I not do the last video then, the Bowl Like a Pro, or just watch it?
You can just watch it.
Okay. It's not very long. I make sure I got short clips. It's only 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Now, people have different opinions on insert tape, but I love it. It really helps me. It helps me have better control of the ball where I want to go. So definitely get some insert tape. Now, pro tip number 2, finish close to the foul line. When you release the ball, you should be about 50 inches from the foul line. The ball should hit the ground just before the foul line. If after you throw the ball, your feet are too far away from the line, you need to refine your throw. A great diagram of this is displayed to your left. Now, pro tip number 3, watch your wrist. And this is really the most important. Many people are making mistakes by turning the wrist, and their ball turns toward the ground. Instead, try to keep your wrist as straight as possible. This will help you with your score. So really pay careful attention to your wrist. Now, just like I said before, for a limited time, you get 3 equals. You have to keep it to kids on how to bowl more strikes and increase your ball average by at least 50 minutes. All you need to do is go to www.throwbowlsystem.com. 103 tips, 103 secrets. Trust me, bowling is a lot more fun when you start bowling strike after strike, beating with the ground, making things. Bowling is a tool of to get down, learn the ball form, learn certain methods. This is how a lot of people that are too lazy to learn, they don't care, but their scores reflect. If you're trying to bowl 100 or 150, that's because they don't know the right form. If you learn the form, you learn how to bowl the right way, you're going to bowl a lot of times. It's a lot of fun. So get the 3 tips, get the 3 secrets, go to www.throwbowlsystem.com. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That didn't show exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. I'll modify it before I submit it. Some other key things. When it comes to bowling, there's also etiquette you have to consider. When you go up to bowl, you have to not walk in front of the person to the right or left of you. That's one of the main things. That's like the main etiquette things. Another thing is make sure you don't drag water all over the floor because people are very sensitive to that. So I'm going to do a quick Q&A thing here and see if you guys remembered anything. Here's a few questions. And the first one, how long and wide is a bowling lane? Is it A, 70 by 42, 60 by 42, 66 by 45, or is it 55 by 70?
A.
Which one?
A.
Nope.
I say, is it C?
Nope, it's B. It's 60 by 42.
Oh.
Number 2, when was the Bowling Congress assembled? September 10th, 1845, December 18th, 1880, November 20th, 1820, or September 9th, 1895?
B.
Which one?
B as in boy.
Nope.
Which one did you say?
He said B as in boy.
Oh. September 9th, D.
Yes, it is. That's correct. What 3 states was bowling most prevalent when it first came out? Is it A, New York City, Ohio, and Iowa? B, Ohio, Indiana, and New York? C, New York, Illinois, Ohio? Or D, Illinois, Iowa, and New York? New Jersey, sorry.
C.
B as in boy?
C as in cat.
Yes, that's correct. Very good. Number 4, the first 3 things to consider when buying a ball is grip, weight, and price. True or false?
True.
Correct. What year was the first bowling ball made? 1919, 1905, 1915, or 1930?
It's a trick question because they found something.
Isn't it
that,
B?
That's correct. B, yeah.
oh.
Okay. All right, do you have any other questions about bowling?
So I couldn't really hear about the shoes. So explain what's the purpose of the sole of the shoe? Like, does that contribute to bowling or the flooring or what's?
Yeah, so he was showing there that, beginners usually don't worry about sliding or how much, distance they need. And for the more professional shoes, the heel and the ball of your foot part, that's Velcro, and you can take it on and off on those more professional shoes, which are kind of expensive, based on how much slide. Like in that video, you could see that person when he went to step to the approach or the foul line, his foot just stuck. Some people need some distance to slide on their foot. So based on the different, the stuff how much slide you need, you can change the padding of your shoe and the heel. Everybody's different on how they, if they want to slide or if they don't, or if they just plant their foot. You can change that out really easily. Most bowling shoes just come with a standard heel and, the ball of the foot pad there. So professionals, they're able to switch it out. And you know what, it can be also based on lane conditions. Because if you're at a bowling alley, it's really, really humid, you're going to stick a lot more. So you want to be able to switch out and make sure you're not sticking, because then you'll fall and flat on your face.
Yeah. And with the hook turn or the hook weight,
The ball.
with the ball, how are you able to really identify which one is it congruent with the weight of the ball, or how are you able to tell, like by picking up the ball, that this one you'll get a straight shot with?
You actually have to go to a pro shop and they'll explain it to you. And usually pros are able to know. I don't know if it's the placement of the, there's usually like a dot on the ball sometimes, where they've got the stamp from the Congress, there's like a serial number, and how they line it up and they'll drill your handhold based on the kind of rotation and stuff you're looking for, but they know by the balls, the specifications, like hammer bowling balls, on where the weight is and how the weight is centered in the ball, on how much it will hook or not. So you usually have to go to Pro Shop and they'll explain it to you. I mean, most beginning people, I don't think they hook too much, or, you know, I mean, I don't throw much of a hook. Well, the pros do all the time. They throw crazy hooks.
Yeah.
And again, like the guy said about fingertips, I watched the pro bowlers and they're changing them out all the time. Or the tape anyway. The fingertips, yeah, it makes a difference too. I don't use fingertips. I used to wear fake nails, and they'll rip, you know, because you have to hold them on the very end of your first knuckle.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do if you're not. So I didn't start that at a young age, so I don't do that. But yeah, the weight makes a difference in how you throw it. So there is a weight in there. There's so many factors in bowling, you probably wouldn't think it's that kind of scientific or whatever. But yeah, that's why that one picture you'll see like three different kinds of weights in the balls, because there's some of it's more centered, some of the weights more spread out, and then how you throw it will also affect how much rotation you get on the ball once it hits the oil on the alley. And the conditions of the alleys too make a difference, because some people oil better than others. And they don't always, there might be more oil on the outside than on the inside, and that will affect on how your ball reacts. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not really good with the scoring part. I never have been. Thank God for digitalized, computerized scoring.
Right.
Philip, do you have any questions?
What ball is the most popular?
I would say the Hammer and the Storm seem to be really popular, and then the Beast is also a popular one too. But it all depends on the person and what they like. But yeah, there's quite a few out there. It's just what your personal preference is. Did you learn anything new from this session? And hey, you guys have bowled before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have. The hook thing was the most interesting for me, just because, you know, I'm not really that in depth with bowling. So when I go to the bowling alley, I'm just picking up something that I can actually roll down the lane. So
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I get that ball where it's like always going off to the side or whatever the case may be, and so
Yeah.
that's why I was asking, like, how could you tell, you know, just by picking it up, like, what ball are you bowling with?
Well, the standardized house balls that they have with all the numbers on it, I think it just has one centralized weight. If you want something that's more reactive to the lanes, then you have to go and buy, you know, a ball and get it drilled and have someone look at it, because then they have you hang the ball down to see how it hangs off your hand. You know, when you pick out balls, some of the holes don't fit right and everything. They make sure that it fits your hand right, so that when you throw it, you're not going to drop it. But then, I know that if you don't use it, if you use a lighter ball, it's not going to move as much. If you have a heavier ball, like I have a 14, you know, if you throw that ball's going to, you know, and the pro bowlers use 16s, which are heavy to me, you know, and they loft those things. They throw those things down there. So, yeah, so when you go and use those standard house balls, there really isn't much difference in those. It's when you go and buy your own bowling ball when things are a little bit different. Philip, have you bowled before?
Yes, I have. You know. So
Yeah.
Mostly in school, but not, you know, in the alley.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm really that good, because I took a break for quite a while. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys learned something from it, and it was somewhat interactive. Okay, Breesia, your turn.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful VLOOKUP. I stink at those.
Okay, so mine's is over Excel as well, and it's just about the VLOOKUP function. So the objectives of this is there are different ways to implement this formula, but this presentation will focus on comparing lists. So another way that it's used is basically is like a extensive find function, but this one will just be about comparing. So at the end of this training presentation, learners will be able to understand the arguments of VLOOKUP and use VLOOKUP to compare lists. So what is VLOOKUP? VLOOKUP is an Excel function that extracts information from selected data and compares it to other data. So essentially, as I said before, it's an extensive find formula, extensive find function. Like I said, there's different ways you can implement it, utilize it, but this would be about comparing. So can someone tell me where VLOOKUP will be beneficial in a work setting? If we're talking about comparing lists, why would that be beneficial to compare lists?
Make sure there's not duplicate entries.
Yes, that's a good answer. Philip, you have any scenario or why comparing lists would be beneficial?
To see how something changed over, time.
Okay. So what I have is that it will highlight data that is contained in numerous reports or lists or whatever the case may be, and can help prioritize work. So Philip, like you said, to see if something has changed depending on the type of report that you're comparing, and can easily identify particular data and values. So the VLOOKUP arguments, which is basically the components of the formula, are lookup value, table array, column index number, range lookup. So each argument is essential in creating the correct formula. If one thing is messed up, the formula is all the way messed up. So you have to make sure that you're selecting the right values needed in each argument. So the lookup value is what I like to call the unique identifier. So it's the value you want to compare. Later on I'll explain what I mean by unique identifier, but essentially you don't want to use something that could apply to various points of data. So like you wouldn't use a phone number, for instance, because a phone number could apply to anybody in your family, not just necessarily you, if that makes sense. So table array is the list or table that the data will be extracted from for comparison. So for instance, let's say you're at work and you have two reports. One report is your report, that's the one you keep day by day, and someone sent you a second report. Well, you want to see up on that second report that there's any information that is also on your report that you keep day by day. So the second report, the information that you're going to be extracting from is going to be on that second report. So whatever information that your unique identifier that you're extracting from that second report is going to be your table array. And like I said, I'll go through an example so you'll be able to actually see what I mean. But yeah, it's the data that you're basically extracting from and comparing your information to. So the column index number is the column number of the selected table array. So if you have a column, if you have a table that has 4 columns and you are looking at the third column of that table, then your column index number would be 3. It just corresponds to whatever column you're looking at on that report. And then your range lookup, it answers the question of exactly how you want to match your comparison. Do you want it to be a partial match, or do you want it to be an exact match? So for comparing, most of the time you want it to be an exact match. So therefore you would put false in the formula because you want to make sure that whatever is in your report is exactly matching what's in the second report when you're trying to compare. So quick assessment. Which VLOOKUP argument is used to identify where the data will be extracted from for comparison? Is it range lookup, lookup value, table array, or column index number? Anybody?
Lookup value?
Table array?
Yes, table array. So the lookup value is the value that you're trying to compare. The table array is the full data sheet that you're extracting your comparison values from. Does that make sense? Does that
Yes.
make sense? Or are you still confused? Okay. So we're going to go through the example so to explain a little bit better. So when comparing lists, the first step is you want to identify the unique identifier. So this is going to be when you identify your lookup value. So your lookup value should be present on both lists. So as you can see, you have report A over here, and then you have report B. So can someone tell me what would be the unique identifier that we would use to compare these lists?
The account number?
Yes. Why do you say the account number?
They have the same in common.
Okay, but why not associate?
Because
Could be duplicate entries.
Right. That's exactly right. So the reason why it's account number, because account number is going to just be for that particular data point. It's not going to, you're not going to have duplicate account numbers. Does that make sense? Okay. So step 2, copy and paste the unique identifiers of one list to a separate sheet on the other list. So what I have here is like I go back to what I was saying, you have 2 reports. So if we go back, I would copy the account numbers from report B to the same workbook of report A, just in a separate sheet that's at the bottom. So then I would name those tabs, so I have report A, then report B. So that way I will be working out of the same Excel book and not having to go through different workbooks to use the formula. Does that make sense?
Yep.
yes.
Okay. So starting with report A, you want to create a new column and label it report B. So as you can see here, I just created a column, and then you see the title, I labeled it report B. So that's where we're going to start our VLOOKUP. So to start the VLOOKUP, you want to click in the first cell under the report B column, select formulas at the top, and then the formula is under lookup and reference. And then you have to scroll all the way down, and then you'll see VLOOKUP, And then once you click on that, there should be a pop-up listing the VLOOKUP arguments. And it will look like this. So you see that it has function arguments, and then all of the arguments that I explained earlier are listed. So then now it's just a matter of going through and selecting your data points for each argument. So you want to make sure you click in the box for lookup value and select the first cell that contains the unique identifier. So Philip has already said that the unique identifier that we will be using for these two reports is the account number. So you'll select the first account number in the column. So once you select it, it automatically plugs it into the function arguments box. So that's why you see that A2. So all I did was just click on that first account number, which is in cell A2, and then it automatically transferred that into the function arguments box. And then you want to click on the next box where table array is, and then you click on the report B tab, the one that you created, and pasted the account numbers from the second report. You want to select all of those account numbers. So an easy way to do that is just to click on the A at the top. When you click on the A, that selects all of your account numbers or everything in that column. And so once again, once you do that, it automatically plugs it into the functions box. Then you want to click in the column index number box, and since if you look here, we only pasted the count number. It's only one column. So in this instance, we will put a 1 there, since the table only consists of one column. I mean, it's not really a table, but like let's say if I pasted 4 columns and the account number happened to be in the second column, then I'll put a number 2 there. But since I only pasted the account numbers, because that's really all that's needed to compare, you'll put a 1. Okay, so then you want to click in the range lookup box, and you want to enter the logic. You want the function to sort for comparison. So for this example, false will be entered. Can anybody tell me why we're entering false?
Told you I'm not good at this stuff.
You want to find the exact match.
Why would we, I mean, it's kind of on the screen, but why would we enter the false formula instead of true?
I said it's we don't want to, or we want to find the exact match.
Right. They want the exact match. It's kind of confusing why they would put false instead of true, but false correlates to the exact match. We want the exact account number when we're comparing these two lists. So once you press OK, because you finished entering the formula, you press OK, and you should get this little box. The NA refers to like an error or no comparison in this instance. So the formula was only applied to this one cell. So now we want to copy that formula to the other cells. And to do that, you will select that cell and then double click on the little square on the bottom right. And then when you double click that, it will paste that formula to the other cells. So it'll look like this. And as you see, there are some account numbers that popped up. So the ones that are showing in both columns, so that's showing in this report B column and in the account number column, that's letting me know right there that of that second report, these reports are duplicates, meaning these reports are contained on both, or these account numbers are contained on both reports. So this first one right here was contained on report A and report B. So given whatever scenario the case may be, like let's say report A is your day-by-day account portfolio, and someone sent you a list of accounts where the due date is approaching, so you do this comparison, and then this will show you that, okay, these 4 accounts that are in my accounts, the due date is approaching. So I might want to have to go in and knock these accounts out first so I can make the due date. Does that make sense?
It's confusing.
Hello?
Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay.
Getting late.
Okay. So, in conclusion, it's an easy way to compare lists or reports. So you combine the unique identifiers to one Excel book, and you enter the arguments into the VLOOKUP formula, and you copy the formula to other cells with a double click of that, box in the right-hand corner, and then highlight the identified data. So are there any questions or anything you need me to review or go over again?
I'm good.
Okay, Philip?
So, so you have to go through that dialog box. You can't do it in the formula box on Excel.
So, let's see. I still have my thing pulled up. Okay. So, I go back. So let's say you had 2 reports, and then this was in a whole different Excel book or Excel sheet. You would copy the loan numbers or the account numbers from the second report, the report that you're going to be extracting from to compare to your other report, into a separate sheet. I've already done that here, so you have report A and report B. So essentially it would look like this when you copy and paste it. So your second sheet will only just have the unique identifiers that you're going to be extracting from. When you do the actual VLOOKUP, you're going to go to formulas at the top, or this is how I get to it. You go to formulas at the top. Well, before you do that, you want to create your column, and then you can label it however you want to label it. And then you go to formulas at the top, and then lookup and reference, and then VLOOKUP is at the bottom. So then that's when your functions box should pop up. And then you want to click on your lookup value. So you want to make sure you're selected inside the box. And then your lookup values, we've already said the unique identifier that we're going to use is the account number. So you want to click on the first account number that's on your list. So once you click that, you see how it automatically plugged into that functions box. So I didn't have to enter anything in there. So for table array, you want to actually make sure you click into that box, and we're extracting those low numbers, that unique identifier that I clicked on for the lookup value. We're extracting those unique identifiers from the second report. So to tell the function that you're going to go to the second report, which is you're going to go to the second tab, and you're going to highlight all the account numbers that you're going to be extracting from. And see, it automatically plugs into that box. So now we're going to move on to the next one. So you'll click in there, and as I told you before, since we're on that Report B tab, there's only one column. You're just going to put one there because it's referring to the column number that you're extracting from. And then you'll click in range lookup and you'll put false. And as we said before, false is because we want the exact number. And then you click OK. So then you see that it says NA because the formula is only applying to this cell, but we want to copy that formula to the rest of these numbers. So you just double click on this square at the bottom, and that formula was pasted to the rest of the cells. And then what I normally do when I do this at work is that I go in and then I'll highlight the ones that match. And then, like I said, that would just alert me to know that, okay, if, depending on whatever report that I compared this to, that, like I said, if it was due dates approaching or something, that I need to do these accounts first because these are falling onto the due date report. Just something like that, that would be beneficial. Instead of having to go through each and every account by one, trying to, do control find and find it that way. This one does it all at once. So that's why I was saying it's like an extensive find function. So, are there any other questions?
No.
All right.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all I have.
Should I stop recording?
Sure.
Okay. Risha, should I stop or are you done?
Yeah.